Mahatma Ji, after the sad demise of Srimati Kasturba in British custody, it was but natural for your countrymen to be alarmed over the state of your health. For Indians outside India, differences in method are like domestic differences. Ever since you sponsored the independence resolution at the Lahore Congress in December 1929, all members of the Indian National Congress have had one common goal before them. For Indians outside India, you are the creator of the present awakening in our country. The high esteem in which you are held by patriotic Indians outside India and by foreign friends of India's freedom was increased 100-fold when you bravely sponsored the Quit India resolution in August 1942. It would be a fatal mistake on our part to make a distinction between the British government and the British people. No doubt there is a small group of idealists in Britain, as in the USA, who would like to see India free. These idealists, who are treated by their own people as cranks, form a microscopic minority. I can assure you, Mahatma Ji, that before I finally decided to set out on this hazardous mission, I spent days, weeks and months carefully considering the pros and cons of the case. After having served my people so long, to the best of my ability, I could have no desire to be a traitor, or to give anyone a justification for calling me a traitor. Thanks to the generosity and to the affection of my countrymen, I had obtained the highest honor which it was possible for any public worker in India to achieve. I had also built up a party consisting of staunch and loyal colleagues, who had implicit confidence in me. By going abroad on a perilous quest, I was risking not only my life and my whole future career, but what was more, the future of my party. If I had the slightest hope that without action from abroad we could win freedom, I would never have left India during a crisis. If I had any hope that within our lifetime we could get another chance, another golden opportunity, for winning freedom, as during the present war, I doubt if I would have set out from home. There remains but one question for me to answer, with regard to the Axis powers. Can it be possible that I have been deceived by them? I believe it will be universally admitted that the cleverest and the most cunning politicians are to be found amongst Britishers. One who has worked with and fought British politicians all his life cannot be deceived by any other politician in the world. If British politicians have failed to coax or coerce me, no other politician can succeed in doing so. And if the British government, at whose hands I have suffered long imprisonment, persecution and physical assault, has been unable to demoralize me, no other power can hope to do so. I have never done anything which could compromise in the least, either honor or self-respect or the interests of my country. There was a time when Japan was an ally of our enemy. I did not come to Japan, so long as there was an Anglo-Japanese alliance. I did not come to Japan, so long as normal diplomatic relations were obtained between the two countries. It was not only after Japan took what I consider to be the most momentous step in her history, namely, declaration of war on Britain and America, that I decided to visit Japan of my own free will. Like so many of my countrymen, my sympathies in 1937 and 1938 were with Chungking. You may remember that as President of the Congress, I was responsible for sending out a medical mission to Chungking in December 1938. Mahatma Ji, you know better than anybody else how deeply suspicious the Indian people are of mere promises. I would be the last man to be influenced by Japan if declarations of policy had been mere promises. Mahatma Ji, I should now like to say something about the provisional government that we have set up here. The provisional government has its one objective, the liberation of India from British yoke, through an armed struggle. Once our enemies are expelled from India, and peace and order is established, the mission of the provisional government will be over. The only reward that we desire for our efforts, for our suffering and for our sacrifice is the freedom of our motherland. There are many among us who would like to retire from the political field, once India is free. Nobody would be more happy than ourselves, if by any chance our countrymen at home should succeed in liberating themselves through their own efforts, or if by any chance, the British government accepts your Quit India resolution and gives effect to it. We are, however, proceeding on the assumption that neither of the above is possible, and that an armed struggle is inevitable. India's last war of independence has begun. Troops of the Azad Hind Fauj are now fighting bravely on the soil of India, and in spite of all difficulty and hardship, they are pushing forward slowly but steadily. This armed struggle will go on, until the last Britisher is thrown out of India, and until our tricolour national flag proudly floats over the Viceroy's house in New Delhi. Father of our nation, in this holy war for India's liberation, we ask for your blessings and good wishes. 6th July 1944 Subhas Chandra Bose.